not to belabor the point, but offensively. So when Eric and Brian Daboll say, well, we're not doing anything different this year, are they doing something different, or is it just a matter of new players?
Well, I think they're doing a few things different. Have they said they're not doing anything different?
Haven't they?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I think they're probably doing a few things differently.
Mike, how hard is this for you? You've been doing this now for a couple of months.
Yep.
And, realistically, how difficult is this for you to sit back and watch them really do things their way? Is this going to work like this, these two philosophies?
Yeah, well, I think to make anything work, the people that have to make it work have to decide they're going to make it work. And I'm committed to that. So let's flip it. Flip it for a second. Let's say I was the coach. Eric was the pro. Just flip it. I wouldn't want anyone. I mean, I lived through that a little bit. I was not the best one at coming in and having somebody tell me how. I was polite, but that wasn't a good thing. So I said, okay. I remember consciously thinking, if this is what my job's going to be, and I'm not going to coach the team, what kind of a president do I want to be for my coach? And I'm trying to be that type of person, that type of guy. Support him, answer questions if necessary, but really, if I thought I couldn't do that, or if I thought he couldn't do it, then I probably shouldn't have. I should have made a different decision way back when, but I didn't. So we're going to do it this way. Will it be difficult for me? We'll see. Well, let's talk. We'll talk after a couple months of watching games and stuff like that. I suspect that I'll get a little antsy about stuff, but I've been doing something for so long that this is a different thing. I think that's natural.
And Mike, on the other side of the ball, you added significant strength numbers at the linebacking position.
Yeah.
Fujita, Gokong.
Yeah.
Given, let's say hopefully Barton and DeQuell are healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 8 guys that have been starters.
Yeah.
Because of the importance of the position in the scheme, might it make you look at guys that are a little more multiverse there in terms of how you finally decide how it all shakes out?
Yeah, who winds up staying?
Well, I mean, would you even think you might have that because of the depth there?
Yeah.
And even add an extra linebacker or more than you normally would?
Yeah, I think so. I think when we get to thinking about that, 2 things pop into play. If you're going to run a 34 scheme, which we run, you're going to have more linebackers anyway. To have a lot of linebackers that actually can go in, and they can play, that's a nice problem to have. What you have to manage, what a coach has to manage then at that point is the egos of the players. Because you can't, if you have 8 guys that can play, it's not going to work out even all the time. The second part of that is their value on special teams. Linebackers are such a huge part of special teams for any team. So that factors into those decisions so much at the linebacker position. And I know Eric, he can answer this for himself, but in my feeling is that he likes the versatile guys at linebacker that can interchange at certain positions. So we're in I mentioned the secondary in camp. The linebacker situation will be as intriguing. I think we have good guys. There's a lot of experience there. We got some youngins coming in. I mean, it should be pretty good.
You talked about quarterbacks and have always been confident in Jake since you've gotten him. But did his performance in the OTAs ease your mind at all? Was there some concern? Maybe we haven't solved that spot.
I wasn't really concerned. I got to say, the first few practices, though, I'm going, okay, that's good. But he told me, he was up front. He's an up front guy. You've talked to him. And I don't think there's a lot of hidden stuff there. I think you ask him and he tells you. And I expected him to do what he did. I would have been more surprised if he hadn't. Now, he Jake is, what? How old is Jake?
I think it's 35.
35? Well, I had another quarterback. He's 46. He's still playing, or how old for? So, but Jake, if he keeps himself in great shape, he's, I talked about Jake being a bridge of sorts, until you can find the next young guy to come in here and hopefully be the quarterback for a long time. And I'm not discounting any of the three players that we have other than Jake at the position. But, the lifespan of a quarterback, he's getting close to where most guys finish up. But I am really glad we have him. He has already made an imprint on this football team, an impact, and we needed the leadership. In my opinion, we needed the leadership there as much as anything. And the passing I never worried about too much, but I needed someone to bring everyone together. And I think he's done a nice job of that so far. Hi, Molly.
I wondered, not just in light of the TO thing, but if you could talk about the division. This looks almost getting tougher by the day.
Well, it's a great division. As an outsider looking in for years, it's a great division. Played all those teams. I want to be a player in the division. I want to be considered a factor in what happens, and have those, the scheduling the NFL is doing now, where you play your division opponents at the end. A lot of them. I want those games to be for the marbles, for everything, and create that type of buzz and that type of atmosphere. Now, do we have some work to do? Yes, because look at, there have been Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and then Cincinnati hopping in there lately. They've kind of been the guys, and so now that's what we want to be. So we keep improving, taking steps, and we'll see what happens. But we know what kind of a division it is, and but you know what? It makes us work that much harder, I think.
Jerome Harrison had a real fine last quarter of the season.
Yes, he did.
700 yards, and then you traded up to get Montario Hardesty.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to whether the possible durability factor in Jerome was a factor there. What kind of entered into maybe doing what you did to get Montario Hardesty in the second round?
No, you know what? I love Jerome Harrison. I mean, we had a good visit this off season, and he's a good football player. Heck, he played at Washington State, I think. So. But anytime you get a chance in the draft, anytime you get in the chance to get in the draft to get a quality, who we thought was really a quality player at a great value, I think you do it. And I think the competition at positions in this league make your team better. It makes your team better. And Hardesty isn't the only guy back there. I think our pile at running back and at fullback this year is a real strong one. I think it's going to be a real battle in there. And I think history has proven in this business now, more than in years past, the idea that when I had Sean Alexander, that he would carry the ball 25 to 35 times a game, and that's what we did. And then the other guy, whoever it was, Mo Morris at the time, would come in when Sean was tired or needed a blow or something. A lot of teams don't do that anymore. A lot of teams have two backs, and they kind of even it off, and they keep them fresh, and they get them banging around like that. We'll see how this plays out. But grabbing Hardesty, taking Hardesty, I wasn't thinking about who we already had. I was thinking, okay, we got a chance to get this player. Let's get this player, and that was in the whole room.
Mike, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the new posters NFL is going to be hanging in locker rooms about warning players about concussions, and what you think the significance of that might be.
Well, I haven't seen the poster yet. There's been a lot of study, and there's a lot of being written about concussions, and rightfully so. I mean, it's something that we all have to be aware of. The teams I've been associated with treated that type of injury the same way as I would be asked to treat it now. We didn't downplay it. We didn't always saying how many fingers go back in the game. We didn't do that. You know, we treated it the way it should be treated, and so for me, there's not a dramatic change. You know, so I think players, not only concussions, but players today know so much more about every injury and potential injury than we used to. And it's probably a good thing. It is a good thing, you know. So, but our medical team, our medical staff, and our training staff, we're committed to do the right thing for the players at all times. And this is a rough sport sometimes, and the players certainly deserve that. So, yeah, whatever they put up, I'm fine with it.
Just a follow-up on that.
Don't players, though, sometimes hide the fact that they have a concussion? These guys are pretty macho.
I suppose they do. Yeah, I mean, I've had players do that. All of a sudden, looking at the film, I go, "That was a nice play." I don't remember that at all. You know, that's happened. But I think the awareness of your training staff is if they weren't really tuned in before, which we were, but if you were in a program that wasn't tuned in, now they're going to be tuned in, and you know, if a guy got up and I don't know, we're just going to be more aware probably of it. But yeah, players hide that. I don't know what you can do about that. You just have to watch. Yeah, I mean, you know, you do the best you can humanly do in protecting the player. If the player doesn't, you know, if you don't sense it or see it, and it happens, and he doesn't tell you about it, you know, you do the best you can.
Jameer, last one. Coach, next Saturday is Family Day.
Yeah.
What are you looking for the club to get accomplished during this?
Oh, my family's still talking to me next Saturday. Hope she comes back. She's in California. I'm sorry.
What would you be looking for the club to get accomplished, the team to get accomplished during this scrimmage, and what would you particularly be looking out for?
Well, you know, I think it's the way Eric runs it is just like a game, and it's the work through for everybody in the building, not just the team, but everybody. So it's a real good thing. We'll be looking for how we do things, our game day operations, first of all, from everyone else's perspective, how we function. It's a good learning thing, and then you kind of, the next week, you kind of pick at it so you get ready to do things correctly when it counts. From the players, you know, they'll sit down. I want to see. I'll say what I always looked for in those things. You know, now Eric, again, you'll ask Eric the same question. He might have a little different slant on it, but you want to see your young players, certainly, particularly the young ones you kind of have in your mind that are going to have to be contributors. So you want to see where they are. You want to see, you know, some sharpness in the passing game. I always did. I wanted to see the guys throw it and catch it. I wanted to see an active defense. And other than that, it's the first scrimmage. Well, they'll have some other scrimmages, I guess, in training camp. And then you just keep your fingers crossed that no one gets nicked up. That's maybe the biggest thing out of that thing. So, but it's great for our fans. It introduces the new team to the fans that day. I hope it'd be cool if they packed the stadium pretty good. You know, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun day. Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
See you Saturday.